Welcome, everyone, to Wisdom and Wealth. If you are new to this channel, we explore timeless wisdom for a richer life, especially for those of us navigating the second half of our journey. Today, we're diving deep into the profound teachings of Buddhism, specifically what death can teach us about life. It's a topic many shy away from, but understanding it can unlock a deeper sense of peace and purpose. So, grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's explore this together. As we begin, if you find value in the insights we share, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Your support helps us bring these essential teachings to more people. We will be examining what happens as we come to the conclusion of our lives on Earth. There's a universal experience we all share, a subtle yet powerful realization that time is passing. It might strike you when you stumble upon an old photograph, or when you notice the changes in your parents' hands. Perhaps it's when the house you grew up in no longer feels like home. It's a moment of quiet contemplation. Yet, despite this awareness, we often continue living as if we have endless time. We meticulously plan for the future, get caught up in trivial disputes, and act as if we'll always have the opportunity to fix things, express ourselves, or start anew. It's as if death is a distant event reserved for others, not ourselves. We tell ourselves, one day, I'll slow down, or maybe next year, I'll live differently. But the reality is, none of us knows when our last breath will be. Still, we hurry through life, as if we have all the time in the world. The Buddha recognized this human tendency with remarkable clarity. One of his earliest and most profound teachings was the simple truth that everything changes. Nothing remains constant, not our bodies, not our thoughts, not the people around us, not even the very breath we take in this moment. In Pali, the word for this is anicca, which translates to impermanence. It signifies the natural flow of birth, aging, and passing away. This truth isn't limited to monks or philosophers. It applies to each and every one of us. Consider the flowers you once gave to someone, they eventually wilted. The food you ate yesterday is now gone. The child you once were is now just a memory. Like this channel? Please like and subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth. Your contribution helps support future videos like this. Nothing is frozen in time, nothing remains still. In the Sutta Nipata, the Buddha wisely stated, "The world is afflicted by death and decay. But the wise do not grieve, having realized the nature of the world." This isn't a cold or detached perspective, it's quite the opposite. When we accept the reality that all things change, we release our tight grip on them. We cease taking things for granted. We become more attentive, more observant, and more caring. Impermanence teaches us how to love deeply, not forever, but fully in the present moment. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once suggested that we should rehearse death. This might sound morbid, but it's not about dwelling on graves or endings. It's about cherishing the value of each fleeting moment. Try this simple exercise. The next time you enjoy a cup of coffee or tea, pause. Resist the urge to scroll or rush. Really savor the taste. Let it remind you that this cup, this morning, this body will not come again. This isn't meant to be sad, it's what makes it real, what makes it enough. The goal is not to fear death but to awaken from sleepwalking through life. Many wait for major events, a loss, an illness, a crisis, to shake them awake. But the Buddha advocated for something different. He urged us to start now, not later, not when life settles down. Right here, right now, in the small, ordinary things, your breath, your footsteps, the way light falls on the wall. This is where life resides. This is all we ever truly have. And when we grasp that, even a falling leaf becomes a profound teacher. If you are still interested, and finding yourself engaged, why not like or subscribe to the Wisdom and Wealth channel? This will encourage me to continue with such videos. Many people express a fear of death, but rarely do they contemplate the question, who is the I that's afraid? While it seems like a simple question, for the Buddha, it held the key to profound freedom. Most of us operate under the assumption that there is a permanent, unchanging self within us, a core identity that experiences our lives. We often declare, "This is just who I am." But the Buddha challenged us to look closer. Consider a river. Is the water you see now the same water that flowed a moment ago? No. Is it a completely different river? No. You still refer to it as the river. It exists as a continuous, ever-changing process. Your body is like that. Your feelings are like that. Your thoughts are like that. So, where is this solid, unchanging self? The Buddha taught that what we perceive as a self is actually a temporary combination of 5 groups of experiences: the body, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness. All of these are constantly arising and passing away. There is no permanent controller behind them. This is the teaching of anatta, or non-self. In the Anattalakkhana Sutta, the Buddha explained this to his first 5 disciples. He asked them whether the body was permanent or impermanent. They replied, "Impermanent, Lord." He then asked whether what is impermanent is painful or pleasant. They answered, "Painful, Lord." He then delivered the crucial point: what is impermanent, painful, and subject to change? Is it fitting to regard that as, "This is mine, this I am, this is myself"? And they answered, "No, Lord." He repeated this line of questioning for feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness, leading to the same conclusion each time. He wasn't saying that you don't exist. He was saying that what we mistakenly identify as a self is simply a flowing process, and clinging to it as I, me, mine, is the root of suffering. This might sound abstract, but it has practical implications. Notice how your beliefs have evolved over the years. Observe how a single mood can shift your entire personality. If the self were truly solid, how could it change so easily? Taoist teachings echo a similar idea. The wise person flows with the Tao, the natural way of the universe. They don't cling to a rigid identity. They don't insist, "I must always be this way." They trust the movement of life. The more you try to hold on, the more you suffer. The more you let go, the lighter you become. Imagine holding a mask tightly to your face, wearing it every day and believing it to be you. Taking it off is the realization that it was never you, just something you wore. The concept of a fixed self is like that mask. It helps us function, but it's not who we truly are. And here's the liberating insight: if there is no fixed, permanent self to begin with, then what exactly is being destroyed at death? The body ceases, the thoughts cease, the breath ceases. But if there was never a solid I to be destroyed, then death is not an annihilation. It's simply a profound change in a process that was already changing. This insight doesn't erase the sadness of parting or the pain of loss. But it dissolves the terror of annihilation. It removes the fear that something permanent is being lost forever. Because what we are is not a static thing. We are a process, a movement, a wave that rises, shines, and returns to the ocean. So, what does this mean for living? It means you can hold your story more lightly, live more freely, and more kindly. You can stop investing so much energy in defending a fixed image of yourself. You can be flexible, open, and free. You don't have to be trapped by who you were yesterday. You are the river, not just a single drop. Like this video? You may want to visit and subscribe to the Wisdom and Wealth channel for more like this. Death doesn't diminish the meaning of life, it makes it sacred. When people hear that life is short and there's no fixed self, some feel lost. They wonder, if nothing lasts and I'm not even a fixed person, then what's the point? But this isn't a reason to give up, it's a reason to pay closer attention. Think of watering a plant each morning. The plant may not bloom forever, eventually, its leaves will fall. But in the moment you care for it, when you pour the water, adjust it toward the sun, clear away the dead leaves, every small action holds meaning. You're not just keeping it alive, you're being present. You're offering quiet love, without expecting anything in return. That simple act of care is already enough. This is what the Buddha meant when he spoke of apamita. It signifies being deeply present, deeply careful with your life, not out of fear, but out of love. It's not urgency in the sense of rushing, it's a gentle focus, a kind attention to what you do, think, and say. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha said, "Heedfulness is the path to the deathless. Heedlessness is the path to death." This doesn't refer to physical death, it refers to a kind of inner death, when we stop caring, when we live on autopilot, when we let our days slip through our fingers without knowing how we spent them. You don't need a grand reason to live well. You simply need to see clearly. A simple act, done with care, can hold deep meaning: washing a bowl, holding someone's hand, completing your work with honesty, saying a kind word when no one expects it. The French philosopher Sartre once said that we are condemned to be free. That freedom can feel heavy, meaning we are always choosing, always responsible. Buddhism agrees, but not with the feeling of being condemned. The Buddha offered the same freedom, but with warmth and understanding. You are not forced to live perfectly, you are invited to live clearly, to notice what truly matters and what doesn't. Wisdom and Wealth helps to make this clearer. We hope that you will like and subscribe. Most people expend their energy on things that are fleeting: status, arguments, possessions, opinions. But the Buddha asked, what is truly worth your time? What actions leave behind peace? What thoughts bring more clarity than confusion? What can you let go of, not tomorrow, but now? There's a saying, how you spend your days is how you spend your life. It sounds simple, but if you look honestly, it's powerful. Your time is not something you possess, it's something you use. And the more you realize how short life is, the more sacred each moment becomes, not because it lasts, but because it doesn't. When you live with apamita, you don't waste your energy chasing what fades. You don't delay the words you know you should say. You don't treat today as if it were just a hallway leading to something better. You show up, not perfectly, but fully, not with pressure, but with presence. And that, too, is a kind of freedom. If this wisdom helps, please like and subscribe to the channel. Fear doesn't always announce its arrival loudly. Sometimes it slips in quietly: a restless night, a tight chest, a feeling you can't quite name. At other times, it crashes in without warning, through sickness, loss, or sudden change. When that happens, most of us instinctively reach for something to hold on to. But we often try to cling to things that are already slipping away: a plan, a belief, a role we've played for years. And that's when fear intensifies. The Buddha never promised a life without fear. What he offered was a way to stand calmly within it. He taught that when the mind spins, when the ground feels unsteady, we can return to something always with us: the breath. Mindfulness, or sati, is not about running from fear. It's not about pretending to be calm, it's the gentle, clear awareness that says, this is what's happening now. Imagine the ocean during a storm. The surface is wild, loud, and uncertain. But just beneath that surface, the water is calm, deep, and unmoved. Mindfulness is like diving just beneath the storm. You don't stop the waves, you simply stop being tossed around by them. When fear speaks, it often sounds like truth: you can't handle this, this will break you, you are alone. But when you bring your attention back to the breath, not to control it, but simply to feel it, you begin to notice that the fear is a voice, not a fact. Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh said, breathing in, I calm my body and mind. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is the only moment. This isn't a technique to feel better, it's a way to come home, especially when nothing else feels safe. And sometimes, what stirs the strongest waves isn't fear of the future, but grief from the past. The moment you lose someone you love, the world changes. There's silence where their voice used to be, and space in the room that your heart doesn't know how to fill. The Buddha never said we should avoid grief. He didn't tell people to be strong by pretending not to feel. He simply taught us to feel with awareness, to allow the ache without drowning in it. Grief isn't a mistake, it's not a weakness, it's love that has lost its usual place to land. When someone dies, your love doesn't end, it just changes form. It becomes memory, kindness, and the way you speak their name with care, even after they're gone. In the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the Buddha reminded us, whatever is born will age. Whatever is assembled will break apart. This truth isn't cold, it's honest, and from that honesty, healing begins. When you sit with your pain instead of pushing it away, something begins to soften, not quickly, not fully, but enough. You learn to carry the sorrow gently. You stop asking it to disappear. You don't forget the person, you don't let go of love, you just stop asking it to look the way it did before. In time, grief becomes part of the path, not a block in the way, but a quiet teacher. It reminds you what matters, humbles you, and opens your heart to others who are hurting too. So, when fear rises or when grief returns, you don't have to pretend to be strong or explain yourself. You just return to the breath, to the body, to now. You don't need to fix the storm, you only need to remember, you are not the storm, you are the calm space that holds it. If this wisdom helps, please like and subscribe to the channel. When someone dies, we often ask quietly, where did they go? And even deeper, many wonder, will I continue? Will something of me remain? These questions have followed humanity for thousands of years. In Buddhism, the answer isn't about a soul floating from one body to another. The Buddha didn't speak of an eternal self that moves from life to life. What he saw was something much more subtle, and perhaps, more honest. He described life as a chain of causes and conditions. One moment leads to the next. One action creates the next effect. Everything that exists depends on something else to exist. This is called pratyaya samutpada, dependent origination. It's like one candle lighting another. The second flame comes from the first, but it's not the same flame, it's a continuation, a passing of energy. Your life is like that too. Your choices, how you speak, act, and think, do not disappear when your body dies. They leave traces in the people you've touched, the habits you've built, and the state of mind you've cultivated. Rebirth, then, is not the return of a person, but the continuation of a pattern, a ripple that moves beyond what we can see. The Buddha once said, dependent on conditions, things arise. When conditions cease, they end. This applies to everything, a flower, a thought, a life. But he also spoke of something beyond that rise and fall. In the Majjhima Nikaya, he described the unshakable deliverance of the heart. That, he said, is the true purpose. So what continues after death? Not a soul, not an identity, but the echo of your life, the warmth or harm left behind, the seeds you planted, some small, some silent, some still blooming long after you're gone. Karma is not punishment or reward, it's movement, momentum. Each action carries energy, and each thought creates direction. Over time, they shape the kind of world we live in, inside and out. Imagine speaking with kindness to someone on a difficult day. You might forget that moment, but maybe they don't. Maybe that soft word changes something in them, and maybe they pass it on. That's karma. So when you face death, not just your own, but the death of those you love, Buddhism doesn't offer easy comfort. It doesn't promise a heaven where everything is perfect. What it offers is deeper. It says, live in a way that what continues from you is peace. Live in a way that your presence endures through love, not through clinging. Live with care, because nothing you do disappears. And when you can see that, when you no longer chase a permanent self, but live with clear awareness, then even death loses its sharp edge. Because what dies is not you, and what continues is not lost, it's only change. And behind all change, there is still the possibility of freedom. Now that the words are fewer, and the silence between them begins to grow, we come back, not to an ending, but to something simple, a pause, a breath, a small space to look gently at all that's just been shared. Before you sleep tonight, try this: sit still for a moment, without any need to be right or ready. Just breathe. Feel the air move in, and feel it move out. Then quietly ask yourself, did I love well today? Did I waste time on what didn't matter? Not to judge, but to see. Just see. And if your answers are unclear, that's okay. What matters is that you asked, that you remembered, and that you turned your face, even for a moment, back toward the truth of your life. You don't need a full plan, or to become someone new. All you need is this small vow, spoken gently inside you: may I live with more awareness. May I stop chasing what fades. May I carry my love forward, one breath, one word, one step at a time. Because now, we've seen what death quietly shows us, not darkness or despair, but clarity. We saw impermanence, and we stopped pretending things would last. We saw the absence of a fixed self, and we began to hold our identities more lightly. We saw that life is short, and that's what gives it weight. We found an anchor, not in answers, but in awareness. We learned that grief is not a failure of strength, but the shape that love takes when it has no place to go. And we understood that what continues beyond death is not you, but the energy of your choices, and the imprint of your care. This isn't theory, this is your life. And if you've listened with your heart open, then something inside you already knows: to live fully is not to escape death, but to meet it, quietly, honestly, and without fear. When we do that, we stop running, stop wasting, and begin again, not louder, but deeper, not someday, but now. This is the end of this presentation. If you liked this video, or found it useful, please visit Wisdom and Wealth and like and subscribe.